Hello friend, this is Anush Tiwari, MIET Academy online classes for UPSC, BPSC, JPSC, Judiciary and other competitive exams. Today we are going to talk on a very important topic related to 67 BPSC Mains GS Paper 1. Actually, GS Paper 1 carries 300 marks and which is divided into the three parts. As you know that the first segment related to history, second current affairs and the last segment related to statics, which carries 72 marks. So we are going to talk an important topic or the related to the segment first history, and that is which is most predictable questions for your upcoming 67th BPSC Mains, that is Mauryan Art, which carries 38 marks. As you know that how can you score the maximum marks? How can you draft your answer? So as you know that your answer divided into three parts, first your intro and second body part and final conclusion. So it is important to make your answer dynamic, and how can you make dynamic and try to add your answer to the present scenario, and conclusion must be add with present time, and as well as optimistic approach. So we start our intro for Mauryan Art for 38. The Mauryan Art, which is most predicted and confirm questions for 67th Mains. So I am going to just describe it for how can you score the maximum marks, how can you give the intro. You can see that. Let's start. So this is intro. In ancient India, Mauryan art was unique in its greatness and excellence. Full stop. It reflects scientific approach and imagination of people, as well as interest of both ruler and local people. Then full stop. As you know that there is an interest of the local and ruler class, as well as you can see the scientific approach in Mauryan art. So I have written in two lines, and then I move to the next line. It also represented an important transition in Indian art from use of wood to stone, and thus a definite and a permanent form of art begin from here. So this is the intro, and this is a very good intro for describing the in two and three line about Mauryan art. And then we change our paragraph and start to write. Mauryan art can be divided into two parts, that is court art and the folk art. And in body part, it is important to use the diagram, flow chart or pie chart for scoring good marks. So here you can see the diagram, flow chart, Mauryan art. And Mauryan art divided into two parts, and you can write the Mauryan art in box, and then divided into two parts in flow chart, and then you also write the court art in box, and then other side you can write the folk art in box. So you describe in such a manner the Raj Mahal palace, pillars, stupa, caves, bihar, sculptures, and other side you write in such a manner a statue of Yakshakshini, a statue of Tirthankar, and the terracotta fingerings. So first is first you know that for 38 marks, as number of candidates ask to how many pages they will write for particular questions. So I can say the 5.5 pages is sufficient, and maximum you can write 6 pages. So you can see the first page, as I told the intro, and just I read it the little bit half paragraph. So one piece, two, three, four, five. That is a five means the final, not from the five and a half. First page is this, first, second, third, fourth, five and a half. So it is sufficient, and it is more scoring. And now we are going to talk on the we are going to take our first part, court art. So how can you write court art? As you know that king was the main center of court art, and such type of art were done by the order and the direction of king, or he gave the patronos to such art. and then change your paragraph and you start to write in such a manner. From Indica of Megasthenes, we came to know that the Patliputra city was established in a very organized way. Full stop. The length of the town was 9.5 miles and the width 1.5 miles. Full stop. There was wall of the 650 feet depth and 64 gates for entry and exit, and full stop. Thus it was secured and majestic. So court art is completed here, and then move to the first segment of court art, that is Royal Palace. What is Royal Palace? So they found a huge palace of Chandragupta Maurya from the Kumharapatna. We get the evidence of the assembly hall from here. Its length was 140 feet and the width 120 feet. The roof and the floor of this hall was of wood and the pillars of sandstone. Full stop. It was polished by the bright and shiny material. And Fayan also described it, and Fayan said it as a god made. So you also underline this statement given by the Fayan, and then move to the pillars. Next part, pillars. It is the best example of the Mauryan art and architecture. Ashoka established the 28 pillars in different part of India, and it was taken from the mines of Chunar. You can write, and mines of Chunar, you need to underline it, and then full stop. And there was a depiction of the animals on the top of the pillars. It was monolithic and made of the red stones. You also give the example of the pillars are Sanchi, Sarnath, Lodianandan, Rampurva, Delhi Merit, Delhi Topra, etc. It was brushed with the opaque polished and rebuilt in a bright form. You also make a diagram of pillars, which is definitely the useful and scoring. And this is the pillar. You can make a pillar in such a way, and you can see on the top of the pillar you can see the animal seated on chakra, and you can see here the inverted lotus, and this is the diagram of pillar. After that we move to the next part, that is stupa. According to Buddhist tradition, Ashoka constructed 84,000 stupas. As you know that it was constructed on the remains of Buddha, or or any monks of Buddhism. Generally, it was a hemispherical construction on the top of which a metal pot, brass, was kept called the harmika. As you know that, and then the full stop. And stupa was enriched by a path of called Vedika. So that is I described the stupa. And next line, between stupa and Vedika there used to be a backend path called the Pradikshina path. Then full stop, and then write the next, the place of prayer of stupa called Chaitya. So here I described. You need, after that I also use diagram, and that is stupa. And you can see here, you also make the diagram in such a manner. So here you can see the on the top chhatra and the railing, and then you can see the semi spherical structure and the external railing, and here is the exit point or entry point. So you can also write the example here, that is the Sanchi Stupa of Sarnath and the Dharmak Stupa of Sarnath and the Dharmaraksha Stupa of Takshila. Three example you have to give. Also you need to give the underline. It would be a scoring. And next we move for the next, that is caves. Ashoka started the tradition of caves in Mauryan art. Full stop. Example, Sudama caves, Karnachopar caves, Biswa Jhopadi caves were constructed and donated to the Ajivika sect. Full stop. His grandson Dashrath also constructed the some caves in Barabar and Nagarjun hills. Full stop. Some caves donated to the Buddhist Buddhist, and then the full stop, and move to the caves art is the representation of caves art is the representation of best art of Mauryan art, best Mauryan art. And then you move to the next last part of court art, that is sculptures. What is you start from the fact. You don't need to divert your answer to the, you try to deliver your answer with to the point. You don't try to describe your answer here and there. You write uh, with a very precise, concise, or systematic manner with facts. So you start is sculptures from the Holly of Odisha. They found a sublime example of a sculpture. Full stop. They found a statue of elephant, which is made up of a stone and seems much lively. I definitely seems it is much lively or lively. uh, it is full stop. And definitely it, this is really it is it looks like much lively, this elephant from the Oli of Odisha. Idols on the top of the pillars, and four lines idols on the pillar of Sarnath, the other example. And the next example, ox on the Rampurva. Next we are going to move we are going to take the second part, that is the folk art. And there were done by the general people, full stop. The most popular among such art is the a statue of Yakshini from Patna. And comma, they are found two yaksha, which is identified as a Ajat Satru and Rudyan. And apart from these, comma, a statue of Yakshini was found named as a Chamardamini. And a single inverted comma you can use for Chamardamini, and number of definitely where you try to highlight your any point, you use single inverted comma and then full stop here and move for the next line. It was polished by the uh, shining and the bright material. And next this is completed the folk art, not more. You can't add the more. And then you write after change the paragraph and write, these have been also made many terracotta figurines of male and female both, and possibly this figurines made for the worship or the for the entertainment of child. And this is completed your folk art. And then it is then the we move for the last part of our answer. That is important, and that is conclusion. It is much important. You need to write your conclusion with the with a remark, as well as try to give the optimistic approach, and try to end with the present, try to add fact with the present time. So you write your answer in such a way, that is, I'm going to read it. Conclusion. Thus, from above discussion, we can say that Mauryan period was a remarkable period of artistic achievement, full stop. It was progressive, liberal, and secular in nature, full stop. It constitutes the culminating point of the progress of Indian art, full stop. And last line is also important, because we are going to add the last line to the present time. In present time, lion capital of Ashoka pillar at Sarnath is adopted as the state emblem of India. So full stop. This is your answer of Mauryan art. You can write in such a way, and definitely you will score maximum marks. So you can write. Thank you, friends.